Hi, I'm Derek Bruff. I'm the director of the Center for Teaching at Vanderbilt University. I'm also a senior lecturer in the Department of Mathematics. I started using blogs in my teaching several years ago, primarily in a first-year writing seminar that I teach in the mathematics department. It's a little odd to teach a writing seminar in the math department, but it's part of how we do things here at Vanderbilt. The course is on cryptography, codes and ciphers, code breaking, code making, surveillance, privacy. It's a really fascinating course to teach. And a few years ago, I set up a course blog for this class, primarily as a way for me to share files and updates with my students. But there was one assignment, the second writing assignment in this course, where I posted students' work to the course blog. I had read in the literature on teaching and learning that when you have students write for each other, they tend to write better, actually. And the theory is that if I'm a student and I'm writing for my instructor and there's something I can't quite explain, some argument or some technical matter, but I know my instructor is going to read it, he or she can probably kind of read between the lines and make sense of it. But if I'm writing for a peer who is kind of just as informed on this subject as I am, I really have to make an extra effort to explain myself really well. And so, again, the theory is that students will write better when they write for each other. So I just used the blog basically as a way to facilitate that. I took each of the students' paper assignments, posted them on the blog, and asked students to read and comment on 2 of their peers' assignments. And they actually took this pretty seriously. I gave them a few prompts to respond to in the comments, and they left some really positive and useful, constructive feedback on each other's work. So I thought that was kind of the end of it, but then a couple days later, one of my students comes to class and he says, Dr. Bruff, I was Googling my paper topic, and my paper is the 3rd result on Google. So that was pretty exciting. There it is, number 3, the Great Paris Cipher. And so now, to be fair, his paper topic was a little bit obscure. There wasn't a ton of competition on the web for information on the Great Paris Cipher. But by putting his paper on a public blog, on the open web, Google's robots were able to discover it and index it and then include it as part of their search results. What's particularly interesting is this was back in 2010, before Google introduced personalized search results. So these were universal Google search results at the time. And there he was, result number 3. So he said, some high school student might read my paper. And I thought, well, that's actually pretty exciting. Then a couple of days later, another student came to class and said, the dude from my footnotes read my paper. Indeed, one of the researchers that my student had cited in his paper had found the essay and the comments left by students in the class. Probably he had a Google alert set up for the topic, right, the particular cipher that he studies. And so he was able to find this paper. And he left a lengthy and helpful and generous comment on the blog post responding to some of the questions that the students had raised in the paper and in their comments. And so that was pretty amazing, actually, that the dude from the footnotes would read the paper and offer that kind of feedback and information to my students. And so that was really what convinced me to have my students write more publicly, more often. And so in subsequent iterations of the course, I set up a course blog where, in fact, most of the content is produced by the students. They write regularly for the blog and for each other, really with the twin goals of having them learn from and with each other as they read and respond to their own posts, but also connecting their work with a wider audience through the open web, so that perhaps other researchers or other interested parties can read and respond and really bring a level of authenticity and kind of real work to the students writing in the course.